Hi, this is part 2 of a 3-part series on how to write a great song. The video was pretty long, so I chopped it into 3 bits. This is the second part. Make sure that you watch the first part first. Enjoy. With these preliminary matters out of the way, let's get into the meat of songwriting. The hook. Your song needs a hook. A hook is a musical phrase which catches the attention of the listener. This could be a vocal line, a riff, a beat, or musical passage. Hooks are frequently short and often found in the chorus of the song. Hooks can be melodic or rhythmic. For a lyrical hook, think about Blur, Girls and Boys.
Looking for girls who are boys, who like boys, who think girls, who do boys like their girls, who think girls like their boys. Oh, it should be someone you really.
Or Taylor Swift, We Never Go Out of Style. I'm not going to sing that one. I'm not even going to try.
We never go out of style. We never go out of style.
So a melodic hook could be something like this. Or this. A rhythmic hook is something like the beat to Chemical Brothers' Block Rockin' Beats. You can even have a couple of hooks, but don't have too many. There's a thing called vampire creativity, which is a marketing term that refers to an idea which is so good that it steals away from the main message. The musical equivalent would be when you have multiple hooks that clash and steal each other's thunder. Writing a hook. You should always have your hook in mind when you're writing a song. Decide what instrument your hook is going to be on. Is it a synthesizer, a guitar, bass, or a voice? Or any other instrument. Once you've written a phrase, you can even move it around from instrument to instrument to see where it works best. Or use it on multiple instruments. Work backwards from your hook to create the rest of the song. Everything else in the song should be built around the hook. Yes, a hook can be a repeated phrase that you use from start to finish, but be careful with that. Your audience may grow weary. Also, remember that if you're playing live, you're going to have to play that song every fucking night. How long before you get sick of that repeated phrase? Writing a hook may be the hardest part of the song, so it's worth really spending some time to come up with something catchy and interesting. Be prepared to experiment and try a whole bunch of different things in order to find a great hook. Remember that good is the enemy of best. You may come up with 100 cool riffs on the way to finding your hook. Don't get tempted into compromising or being lazy and using one of those ideas. Note them down, record them, and keep them for another time. But you need to kiss a bunch of frogs before you find that prince. Let's talk about song structure. Most modern songs, whether they be pop songs, rock songs, or dance songs, tend to follow a pretty standardized structure. There may be some variation, but fundamentally, a uniform structure is the platform of the song. You can choose to write a song that intentionally goes against normalized structures, or even a structureless song. This is fine if you're doing experimental music, but the difficulty that you will face is that Just like note structure in the form of scales, most people have become wired by experience to accept certain standardized song structures. In other words, a song is going to be more acceptable to them if it is very close in structure to what they're used to. My ethos is this. I want to have some form of my own unique creativity in a song, but I'm going to express that using one vehicle in the song, not every vehicle in the song. What I mean by that is that if the potential avenues for creativity are the time signature of the song, the chord and scale type of the song, the rhythmic devices of the song, the melodic devices of the song, and the structure of the song, I'm going to choose one of those avenues, maybe two, to express my individuality. If I diverge too far from that, the song will be too unusual for most people to be able to accept. It will sound too different or be too challenging to listen to for them. You don't have to follow that methodology, but be aware of what you are doing. If you're being experimental with your music and you wonder why people perhaps aren't all that into it, take a look at this. Maybe you're being a little too experimental. And don't think that I'm trying to put you off being experimental. By all means, go bananas. Just understand the implications of what you do. If your musical goal is to just create music that is completely unique, then go for it. But if your musical goal is to reach a wider audience, then you will need to compromise on some things and follow certain patterns. Now, the opposite of this is the person with no creativity who only follows patterns. If that's you, then you really need to work on your creativity and bringing some of your own voice into the music. If you don't have a unique voice, then maybe you should rethink your career path. Okay, let's get into song structure. You can think about a song as consisting of a number of blocks or parts. The main parts that we're all familiar with are the chorus, that's the bit with the memorable repetitive vocal hook, and the verse, where the main story element of the song is developed. I'm simplifying this, of course, but if you think about any pop song, you'll easily recognize those two parts. In addition to the verse and chorus, there will also be an intro, which generally introduces certain elements of the song, like rhythmic or melodic hooks, and establishes the mood. And an outro, which provides a warm-down section for the song to resolve. Those four parts are the most important key sections of a song. In addition to those, songs may include some other parts. A pre-chorus is a short section which provides a link between the verse and the chorus. It is usually a short phrase with a different melody which builds anticipation going into the chorus. It comes before each chorus in the song. A bridge is a passage that connects one section to another and is often designed to make the second transition from chorus to verse more interesting. A bridge is musically and lyrically different from the rest of the song and helps provide some variation. Bridges can also be used to reconceptualize the lyrical content of the story, providing a different perspective. A middle eight is a section that differs in melody and lyrics, providing contrast. It is usually set after the second chorus. A middle eight differs from a bridge because a bridge usually connects the verse to the chorus, while a middle eight functions as a turning point. A refrain is a two-line part which is repeated at the beginning or end of every verse. Refrains are frequently confused with the chorus because they will often repeat the key phrase of the song. But a refrain is shorter, usually 2 lines, and will be rhythmically and melodically closer to the verse. An interlude is any part that falls in between two other parts. They usually come between a chorus and the next verse, and they tend to be quite short. A solo is a section that highlights one particular instrument. This is really common in rock music, where you will frequently hear a guitar solo. A coda is a series of additional lines which bring a song to its close. Additionally, electronic music has a few parts which are unique to it as well. A breakdown, or break, is a section where the energy drops and provides something of a relief or rest period for dancers on the dance floor. They usually last 8 to 16 bars and are followed by a build or rise. A build or rise is an intense build-up of sound which leads into the drop. This is often the most dramatic part of the song and frequently includes rapid percussion hits. The drop is the electronic music equivalent of a chorus. The main lyric or musical hook is repeated here. This is the highest energy part of the track. So what elements to include? How should you treat these structural elements when writing a song? I would suggest that in most cases, presuming that you started by writing a hook, that you should aim to start with a verse-chorus structure and write as much of those parts as you can. Once you have those together, create an intro and an outro, and then just listen to what you have, and the song should tell you what else it needs. Maybe it needs a middle 8 section to break things up. Maybe the chorus and verse require a refrain or a pre-chorus to fit together well. Alternatively, perhaps you started writing the track with an instrumental element that you think would make a great intro. If that's the case, then work that element into what you think the verse and chorus will be, so that you create a solid structure for that particular instrument right the way through the song. You can then build the other parts of the song around it. Now remember, there are no hard and fast rules to songwriting. You're trying to find methods that will work best for you and give you a vehicle for creativity and workflow. Here are some common song structures. The first structure is the most common pop rock song structure and is a good place to start. You can use that as a guide or a kick-off point if you're just getting started. Number 5 is a common song structure in electronic dance music.